Welcome to my very first Lost. Season 5 episode review video, as this of course is the Season 5 premiere. Before I get into all that though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, if you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, I've already seen every episode of Lost 3 other times. It's one of my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. But I want to rewatch the show and let it resonate a little bit more. Instead of binging it, I'm watching like 1 to 3 episodes per week, maybe 4. So it sits with me a little bit longer. But I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section for Breaking Bad, Lucifer, Dexter New Blood, Dexter Original Sin, and some physical media related videos, is actually watching Lost for the very first time. So join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show in the comment section. However, I don't want to see any spoilers in that comment section past this episode. So with all that said, this will be Lost, Season 5, Episode 1, the Season 5 premiere. The title of this episode is called Because You Left. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start off with a flashback. It's 8:15 in the morning, and then we have a man hitting a snooze button on an alarm clock. Next to him, an Asian woman hears a baby making noise from a crib in the other room and tells the man it's his turn to take care of the child. After putting on a record, he gives the baby a heated bottle of milk before getting ready for the day. When the record starts kipping, he turns off the player. This man walks to one of the other buildings in the barracks where a camera crew has set up to record the first take of a second Dharma Initiative orientation film. He's revealed to be Dr. Pierre Chang, but he goes by other names in his Dharma Initiative videos. As the filming begins, Pierre Chang identifies himself as Dr. Marvin Candle, which we've heard before, and begins to describe the Arrow's primary purpose, indicating that it involves protecting the Dharma Initiative from the island's hostiles and inhabitants. Suddenly, Pierre Chang is interrupted by a concerned worker named Eric, who barges into the room and says that there is a problem at the Orchid. And then Eric drives Pierre Chang to the Orchid in a Dharma Initiative van, and they make their way past the construction workers and down a elevator. Pierre Chang puts on a hard hat and walks out into the subterranean station, which appears to be under construction. Then a foreman tells him that in the process of tunneling through a certain spot, according to Dr. Pierre Chang's plans, 6 carbon drill bits have melted and a drill operator has been incapacitated. He shows Pierre Chang the seemingly impenetrable rock while the drill operator lies on the ground nearby with a nosebleed. The foreman shows Pierre Chang a sonar image printout of the wall. It reveals the outline of the frozen wheel in an open chamber 20 meters behind the wall. And then as that foreman begins to outline his plan to blow through the rock and expose the inner chamber, Pierre Chang forbids the foreman to set explosives in the area for any reason whatsoever. He believes there is an incredible amount of power on the other side that will allow them to manipulate time. When the foreman asks if they will be able to travel to the past and assassinate Hitler, Pierre Chang tells him not to be absurd, saying that there are rules which cannot be broken. And then Pierre Chang orders the foreman not to drill anymore because doing so might allow the energy to escape with potentially catastrophic results. And then Pierre Chang bumps into a worker as he leaves. The worker apologizes, and when he looks up, he is revealed to be Daniel Faraday, wearing a Dharma Initiative jumpsuit with the name tag Joe on it. Back to present time, Ben asks Jack to close Locke's casket. Or actually, this is the flash forward. I apologize. So they can put it in the van. I don't know where this is exactly because we still got the island time, but they made it off the island, so I don't know. But they put it in the casket in the van out back. Jack inquires as to where they are going to take John Locke, but Ben tells him that they must first pick up Hurley. Jack informs Ben that Hurley is in the Santa Rosa Mental Health Institute. Jack wonders aloud how they could all become so estranged, and Ben responds coldly, "It happened because you left, Jack." Then Jack shaves his beard off in a hotel room, a really terrible fake beard, by the way. And then Benjamin Linus says that they'll need to recruit all the others through Jack, though Jack has his doubts. Ben reveals that he has not seen Locke since the day the Six left. Jack mentions that Locke told him he had to return, otherwise everyone back on the island would die. Ben asks Jack if Locke told him what happened to those left behind, but the answer is no. Ben simply remarks, "Then I guess we'll never know." Then we go back to our flashback. Immediately after Ben turns the frozen wheel, a loud noise is heard and a flash lights up the sky above all the survivors who are still on the island. As the light dissipates, we've already kind of seen this, Locke realizes that there is suddenly raining, and Richard and the others, along with their entire campsite, have vanished. Confused by this, and alone, he shouts for anyone in earshot. On the Zodiac, Neil asks what the light was. This is the thing going to the freighter. Daniel Faraday, noting that they could still see the island, says that the raft must be inside the radius. On the beach, Juliet and Sawyer realize that the smoke from the freighter has vanished, leaving nothing behind. Sawyer tells Juliet that the helicopter was heading for the freighter. Bernard suddenly runs onto the beach yelling for Rose. He asks Juliet if she's seen her. She tells him she hasn't, just as Rose comes running from the church, which she explains to Bernard when she reunites with him. Sawyer tries to calm them down, suggesting that they head back to the beach camp, but Bernard exclaims that the camp is gone. They walk back with Bernard back to where the camp used to be. People are milling around, but there is no camp. Bernard explains that all of the tents are gone, along with the kitchen and all of the crucial supplies that are needed for the island. Daniel Faraday arrives with the other survivors from the Zodiac, insisting that the camp is not gone. Charlotte embraces him in the relief at the safe return. Daniel Faraday asks Juliet to quickly take him to something man-made on the island. Juliet tells him that there is a Dharma station that imploded 15 minutes from the camp. Faraday is prepared to leave immediately before the flash of light has a chance to happen again. When Sawyer prods him about his statement about the camp, he replies, "Your camp isn't gone. It just hasn't been built yet." Back to our flash forward, Kate is visited by Dan Norton, who's an attorney working for an unknown client. Norton claims to have a court order to conduct a blood test to determine if Aaron is actually Kate's child. Kate refuses to allow the test and tells Norton to leave, which he does, saying that he will be back with the sheriff. Kate frantically packs a bag, grabbing an envelope of cash and a gun. She tells Aaron that they're going on vacation before picking him up and leaving. And then back to the island as Sawyer, Juliet, Faraday, Charlotte, and Miles head toward the Swan. Sawyer demands that Faraday explain what is happening, and Sawyer kind of smacks Faraday. Charlotte wants to know what he's doing. "Shut up, Ginger, or you're going to getting one too." Faraday compares the island to a record that is skipping. The island is now dislodged in time, and either the island or the survivors are now moving through time. Sounding concerned, he asks if the survivors group is all accounted for. Sawyer says no, realizing that John Locke is unaccounted for. Claire is missing as well, though no one mentions her. Locke, while still climbing a hill, narrowly misses being struck by the damaged low-flying plane, which then crashes in the jungle. And this is its current time flashback because the time has changed. Finding a Virgin Mary statue that had fallen from the plane, he realizes that the plane is the Beechcraft that he and Boone found in the jungle back in season 1, which seems like an eternity from now. Locke arrives at the crash site and tries to climb up the cliff to the plane, shouting for survivors, but he is cut short by gunfire from the jungle below. One of the bullets hits him in the leg and he falls to the ground. Stunned, the shooter runs out of the jungle and reveals himself to be Ethan. Ethan assumes that Locke was on the plane. He demands to know how many others were on board. Locke tries to explain who he is, that he wasn't on the plane, that he knows who Ethan is, and that he was appointed by Ben as the leader of the others now. Ethan simply says that it is ridiculous and prepares to shoot him. Suddenly, the white light appears again, though Ethan does not appear to notice it, and for Locke, the day suddenly turns to night. Sun attempts to fly to Los Angeles via Oceanic Airlines, but the ticket agent tells her to wait before finding herself locked in a room by airport security. Charles Whitmore reveals himself as her captor, saying that he is angry that she had the audacity to approach him without showing respect in London, but he still wishes to talk to her about their common interest. When asked what exactly those interests are, Sun simply replies to kill Benjamin Linus. Back to our flash forward, Ben and Jack see a television news anchor report on Hurley's escape from Santa Rosa after apparently murdering a man. Ben realizes that their plan has just become more complicated, and Hurley and Saeed stop at Rainbow Drive-In, a fast food restaurant where they are served by a woman before going into the Waffle House, or the Safe House, I should say. Hurley makes a comment that Saeed should eat more comfort food, as he's always killing people. Hurley asks Saeed about the man Saeed killed outside Santa Rosa. Saeed doesn't know who the man was, but said that he was an enemy. When Hurley comments on Saeed's paranoia, Saeed reveals that he has been working for Ben Linus and cautions Hurley that if Linus ever tells him to do anything, he should do the exact opposite. Saeed then notices that a piece of tape that he'd placed on a door to the room has been broken, indicating that somebody or someone has entered the safe house. One man attacks Saeed at the door, and Saeed quickly kills him by throwing him over the balcony. Another man attacks him inside. Saeed kills him too, but not before he is shot with essentially an anesthetic dart, which renders him unconscious for a moment. A passerby notices the dead body of the first man and takes a picture of Hurley with a gun in his hand and covered in what appears to be blood, but it's actually ketchup. Hurley runs inside, rescues Saeed, and the two escape. Hurley says, "I thought this was supposed to be a safe house. We never should have left that island." And then back to the island, which is in the present time, but they're going back in time. The group arrives at the Swan Station, the hatch, whatever you want to call it, which is still a crater in the ground, prompting them to conclude that they are back in what should be the present. Sawyer argues that they could change by stopping Jack and the others from launching the helicopter, which they believe crashed in the ocean. Faraday, however, is adamant that the past is like a street. One can move back and forth along it, but not change it. As Locke lies, barely able to move, Richard Alpert arrives holding a torch and a first aid kit. Richard removes the bullet from Locke's leg, explaining that he told him where to come, or rather, will tell him. Richard gives John a compass that he must give back to Richard the next time he sees him, saying, "I won't recognize you." He also tells John Locke that the only way to save the island is to get those who left to come back, and in order to do that, he will have to die. And then we have another flash, and Locke wakes up with the compass in his hand. And then another flash occurs, and the hiking group realizes that the crater has disappeared. Juliet uncovers the hatch in the ground, now intact as Locke and Boone originally discovered it. The group quickly moves to the rear entrance, and Sawyer repeatedly knocks on the door, but nobody responds. Faraday reiterates that Sawyer won't be able to meet Desmond because Desmond didn't remember meeting him in the past, and that he can't change whatever happened in the past. Frustrated, Sawyer reminds Faraday that he just lost all of his friends on a helicopter and not to tell him about things he can't change. Faraday notices Charlotte having a bloody nose after everyone else leaves for the beach. However, Faraday goes back and knocks on the hatch/swan door himself. Desmond opens up the door armed and wearing a hazmat suit. Faraday tells Desmond that he is uniquely special and that only he can help them because the rules don't apply to him. Faraday instructs a confused Desmond to seek out his mother in Oxford if he escapes the island. He's about to say his mother's name, and then another flash occurs, once more causing a time shift. Unlike Ethan and Richard, when they were talking to Locke, Desmond appears to have been able to see and hear the Flash. And then we have Desmond on a sailboat with Penny in an unknown location. Desmond wakes up, remembering what Faraday told him. While Penny brushes off the experience as bad dream, Desmond insists that it was a real memory, and then Desmond tells Penny that they're leaving. He sets off for Oxford to find Daniel Faraday's mother, and that's what ends this episode of Lost. So this season 5 premiere, I was kind of confused by it. It didn't give me the answers to questions that I was asking, like what happened to John Locke. So I'm going to give the episode a 7.0 out of 10, which probably is a little low, but that's just my opinion. My character of the episode is going to be Daniel Faraday. He was a big focal point in this episode. I'm actually starting to like his character more because he's been my least favorite character on Lost the other times I've watched the show. Everybody else loves Faraday. I just haven't liked him for some reason, but he's interesting, even though we haven't got a lot of time with him. So you've heard everything that I had to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share this video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are on this episode of Lost. You'll be interacting with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. What would you score the episode? Who would be your character or characters of the episode? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100,000 subscribers. Join the team. Show your damn support and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.